Nobody needs to see this mess right now.
You're not a mess.
Oh, goodness.
I think we only have Amiga in the chat. Hi, Amiga. Well, we have Richard's Beer, Math Pig, Hogfather, Math Pig.
I got it on the computer.
So, Miss Manda, tell everybody how you're feeling.
Better.
Doing okay?
Yeah. It's getting better. It's not like when the first couple days, it was so painful. It just a lot of screaming and stuff, but it's getting a little better. So thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it. Nels, what's new with you? Are you doing better since yesterday, honey?
A little bit. We had a very stressful event last weekend, and it's still not resolved, and may not be resolved. So it's unfortunate because now I'm at bad ends with one of my neighbors, and it's their fault. And so we can discuss that in private. I don't want to air my dirty laundry on the air. Well, my dirty laundry I might, but sensitive issues, no.
How are you doing, Beth? You're muted.
Yeah, I sure was. No, I'm good. I'm having my allergies, sinus issues. I'm having trouble. I'm trying to adjust to this new weather because I got here in the wintertime and nothing was blooming. So, yeah, so I'm trying to adjust to that. And otherwise, yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Gotta go to work in 4 hours. Thought I'd hang out with you guys.
Sucks.
Hi, Tammy. We're just hanging out and BSing, and everybody in the community just bullshitting with each other. That's what we're doing. Seraphim.
Hi, Sarah.
Beth, I think you have a button somewhere that you could make mods with. I think that's in your control panel.
Yeah, it is. Type something in the chat, and I'll go in on my phone and do it.
So you have work, so you're not like stuck in the house and stuff like us, at least. I mean, work sucks, but at least you're not like completely isolated and in the house at all times.
Right? Yeah, I've talked to some people, they're like, I'm stuck at home, and I'm like, are you getting paid? Yeah. Okay, I don't understand what the problem is. I just don't like. Oh, I don't understand what the problem is.
Oh my God. So my work, we had an issue with the program that we run, and the guy that fixed it, that usually fixes it, actually got corona. So we waited for a couple weeks to see if he could fix it, and it got fixed. And then they were like, you know what? You guys just take care of your families right now. We're not going to have work. So I'm like, what the fuck? Thanks, I guess. So, yeah. Kind of, yeah, it's kind of, well, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to work this week anyway, but still, it's kind of climbing up the walls with shit and having to deal with a teenager who is so fucking pissed because he can't go see his friends, and It's
yeah,
not
I've been hearing that a lot.
Fault, though, because like I said his best friend could come over, but his mom wouldn't let him. So I did try with one kid, but no, that was it. And that was really like early on at the beginning too. Probably couldn't do it now because I take care of my parents, and my mom has COPD, so she can't be exposed to anything. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it sucks, but
yeah, it really does. Yeah, it's funny. Like we have these people, older people that call into work, and there's two of them particularly, and they call into work and place orders, and then we bring it out curbside, take their credit card in, pay for it for them, and I
Yeah.
don't mind doing that for people that are at high risk. But this guy calls, and he does this like 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week. He's constantly like, I'm like, dude, Instacart.
Yeah, that's what I use.
It's a thing. So they're basically just abusing our good customer service. So he calls, and I'm like, okay, I can have that ready in about 5 minutes. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'm out running around. I'm at my storage unit, so I'll be over there in a little bit. I'm like, what? Is
What?
this guy even like, yeah. So then he shows up, and I go out to get his credit card, and he had the back of his SUV open already, and he's just standing there, and it's hot as fuck out that day. It was like 88, 90 degrees. It was our first big like heat wave,
Mhm.
and he just stands there while I go in and ring everything up and bag it and bring it out to him, and he's like just standing in the like he's fine. He walks faster than I do. So I told my boss and and the assistant manager, I'm not doing it anymore. You guys do it. You started
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah.
You do it, because I'll do it for someone like we still have this guy comes in our store. He's like 22-ish years old. He's got leukemia. He's got to have leukemia. He looks like shit. He has no hair. You could tell he's been going through treatments. He's gray. He's on oxygen,
Yeah.
and he still comes in with a mask on and buys his own shit and gets his prescriptions and everything. But these little fuckers, this guy with nothing's wrong with him, and he's just abusing the system, and it pisses me off.
To
And he's
stand
like,
there and expect you
oh,
to put everything in his car. Fuck that guy.
yeah, I got to bring it out to him. So he's like, oh, here, this is what I want. Paper towels, some paper plates, uh, some body wash and shampoo, and ice cream. Oh, because that's essential.
Well, I mean, ice cream is kind of essential, but yeah.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, my wife called and said she wanted ice cream too. Can you add that to the list? He called me back. I'm like,
Does he say
are you?
what kind of ice cream, or is he just like ice cream?
Oh, he tells me like what flavor or whatever, and I have to go find that.
Ugh.
And then we have to call him back if we don't have it, or if we have to substitute something. Yeah, it's just, you know what? I'm not doing it. I got too much other shit to do around here. I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah, I get that.
So,
What about you, Mr. Shadow Kitty? How are you dealing?
I'm bored. Every day is the same day.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
I have a little bit of income coming in from where the place where I teach. We switched over to Skype, so it's nice in that capacity that I don't have to drive to work, and I don't have to wear shoes while I teach.
Or pants.
Or pants. I can pull that one off easily enough.
I mean, I'm naked from the waist down right now. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm completely naked. That's why you can't see me on camera.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on, guys. We need to pause the stream. We'll be right back. No, I'm kidding. Nels, see ya. No.
Girls' night was hysterical last night. Everybody talking about their butts last night.
What? What did I miss?
Oh, girls' night in. All the ladies were talking about how firm their buttocks are.
I missed
or
that.
Or how big it is. Yeah, butt talk.
That was a thing. That was the conversation you all had.
Yeah, I might have been part of that.
It was the highlight of the show, in my opinion.
Well, Linda said she was going to go over on it. And she's like, do you want to get in? And I said, hell yeah. So she goes, okay, let me see, because I'm not running anymore. So she got a hold of Nadine. Nadine sent us the link. And so we got in there. And yeah, I don't know. I was in rare form. You got to look it up on Nadine's channel, because we were just being goofballs. And it was a good time. We had a lot of laughs.
That's good.
We were talking about cats clawing you while you're half naked, kittens, and Faye's got those 2 little kittens, and she was she was randomly like, stop it, quit it. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I'll go in the corner. What did I do? And she's like, no, the cats.
Did you see? There's a video on Twitter of this vet who's wearing a mask and he's holding a puppy, and the puppy is like pawing at his face and trying to take the mask off, and they're hugging and cuddling. It is the fucking cutest thing in the world. Puppies are better. Cats are cunts. Just saying.
That is not true. Not all cats are cunts. I've had some cunt cats. I mean, I really have. And I've met some dogs that are total little assholes, but they're usually Chihuahuas or Pomeranians, those little kick dogs.
They're called football dogs, actually, because they're puntable.
Right. Same thing. Yeah. Yeah, they come at you, they bark, you just want to kick them, but you can't because
my
somebody's
parents
vet
have
bill.
A cockapoo, but it's not my. They had another one that was a little bit bigger. This one is fucking tiny, and it's yippy. It barks all goddamn day, and it always tries to attack my dog, who is like so much bigger. Like their dog is maybe 10 pounds. No, maybe like 6 pounds at the most. My dog's like 45 pounds. She's half German Shepherd, half Chow. She could take that bitch's head off in no time. But she's a sweet dog, so she just lets it happen, and it just drives me nuts. So she's a football dog too.
Yeah,
and I love dogs, but little yipper ones are fucking obnoxious.
Yeah, they're just like louder, more irritating, bad cats with bigger teeth. That's what they're like.
Mm-hmm.
Except cats don't like come over. Well, some cats will attack you, but my ex had a Chihuahua named Emmy, and Emmy took a long time to warm up to me, and finally she started like sitting next to me, and then on my lap, and then eventually she'd come up on my chest and let me hold her, and I was like, oh, this is great, she's letting me pet her, so I'm petting her, and then just out of nowhere she just bites my cheek right next to my eye, just and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So my ex is laughing. This should have been a sign. I should have broke up with her after this. Yeah. So my ex is laughing, and I have these bite marks like within a quarter inch of my eyeball. And I'm like, okay, that's not funny. I need that eye. So, yeah, can't trust the little fuckers.
Yeah. When I was like 8 years old, I was at one of my friends' houses, and I was petting their dog, and it was a smaller dog, but medium smaller, not puntable small, and just giving it love, and I got too close to its face, and it fucking bit me. The bottom teeth were right under my lip, and the top teeth went right over my nose, so I still have a scar on both sides, and it chipped my tooth. So that was bad. Like it bit me right on the fucking face. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeesh. Hello, Pork Papa.
Hi, honey.
But I'm here eventually. Hi, honey.
We're glad you're here.
I'm Kitty. Hello, Kitty. Not forget about Kitty. Sorry, just give me a second. I'm literally only sat down and just out of the bath. I'm sweating, even running after getting a bath. Yeah, ignore me. Sorry, go back to what you were doing. I'll just be here.
Okay. All right, fine. We're just BSing. I don't know. We're not even really talking about anything. Talking about animals.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. Mean little dogs.
Mm-hmm.
My last trip to the ER was from a dog attack. I got bit here and it tore half my lip off.
Yeah. Ouch. Whose dog was it?
It was my friend's. It was a rescue. And he said, Stanley's not very good with strangers. Sit here. If I would have stood up, remained standing, it wouldn't have been a problem. And he had it on the leash to let it outside. But the leash went slack when he reared back and jumped up and hooked his tooth on my lip and tore that. They had to, ER, they had to get a plastic surgeon to come in and fix it. And they did a great job because you can't even tell that it was like my lip was hanging off.
That's awesome.
I flipped over my bike and shush, Leia. and split my lip in half when I was 7, like all the way through the top lip. And luckily, my mom was a nurse, and so she took me to the hospital she worked at and made me wait for the plastic surgeon, and they worked on it. And then I went back a couple months later, and they took scar tissue out of it, so you can barely see it now unless you're really close.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
The
I had to
plastic-
have, when I fell on my chin, they had to take, because I just got home from work and everybody was drunk, and I fell on my chin and ripped my skin off my chin, and it was just dangling there by like a hair of skin. So I just tore it off because it was literally just would have been worse. So I pulled it off, and I wiped it like this and let go and looked in the mirror, and I could see my chin bone. So I wiped that whole piece of, yeah. Oh, it makes me sick thinking about it. Ugh. So I went so everybody was drunk, and I was like, they were like, we're going to call an ambulance. I was like, fuck that. I don't have a good insurance. I'm not going to pay $300 for an ambulance to take me to the hospital. So my roommate, I made him go to bed because he was the least drunk. And I said, I'll wake you up in about 4 or 5 hours. You can take me. And he was like, all right. So he went to bed, And so by the time I got there, I mean, I just sat up all night. Honestly, I just sat up all night popping Tylenol, ibuprofen, and smoking pot because it hurt so bad. And I had pulled all these muscles all the way down my neck and my tongue muscle, like everything. Every muscle in here was pulled. So it was just bad. And so my husband at the time, John, he stayed up with me until I woke up the guy in 5 hours. I was like, are you sober enough? He was like, yeah, I'm good. So we jumped in my little Ford Ranger pickup truck and he took me to the hospital, and he just stayed outside and slept. And we had to wait out there. Like, it was still bleeding. It just wouldn't stop bleeding. And so I'm sitting there with a big rag, on my freaking chin, and they just made me wait forever. I had to wait like 2 hours to get in there. And so the doctor, because I waited so long and it started to scab over, he had to like cut it out and then pull it tight and restitch it. So that felt really good. But the good news is my chin used to be a lot bigger, and I like my new chin better. It was like free cosmetic surgery. It cost me like $100 to go to the ER. So it came out pretty good. I mean, the shattered teeth, not so good, but the chin looked good.
It's insane that it cost you $300 to get to get an ambulance to the hospital. Like.
Yeah, at that
nothing.
time where I lived at, they would bill you like it was $250 if it wasn't covered by your insurance.
2,000. So
yeah.
I know a friend. Sorry, go on, B.
No. I was just gonna say that probably was with insurance. I mean, I don't know. This was in 1998, so
yeah, it had to be.
It was a bit ago, but still, I didn't have $250. I barely had the 100 to. I had to pay it in increments of 3. I was broke back then.
I know a friend that went to a party and they were all drinking, and I don't know if you've ever seen the old-fashioned phone boxes they have over here, the sort of red British-looking ones with the small windows in it. And over time, everybody had obviously punched them out, so they'd been replaced with glass. But he's drunk, walking around just punching them, just knocking them out in one solid pane. It's like a fucking game to him. And then he eventually gets to one of the very last ones that's glass, goes the whole way through it, pulls his hand back out again, and not only has he slit his tendon, but right on his fucking artery, and the flip of like a flap of skin on his wrist is just sitting there flapping, blood all over the place, going mad. We ran up to the house and there was a rugby team, like a half a rugby team drinking there, and they all come down, grabbed him by the wrist, and just lifted him up off the ground for about 20 minutes while they waited for the ambulance to come. Yeah. People do stupid things when they're drunk.
Or are we talking about stupid things we do when we're drunk?
No.
I'm good. That's fine.
Work up to that. B, you're muted.
Again.
Damn, I keep muting it below my nose because I don't want to be rude, and then I forget to unmute. I got drunk on tequila one time. Well, more than once, but this one particular time. I got drunk on tequila, and I was at my friend's house, and she had bar stools, and I decided that I could set the bar stools up like 8 or 10 feet apart and get on top of a 4-foot tall bar stool and jump from one to the other, and I would be fine. And the bad part about it was they all let me do it. So I jumped, my foot hit the other bar stool. The bar stool went that way. I went that way and landed on a concrete floor with just that carpet on top, like that apartment flooring, and bounced my head off of that. So, yeah, I had a pretty good knot for a while.
Remind me
Woke up feeling like shit, went to
to
work.
tell you about my last tequila story the next time we talk, B. Okay?
Okay. Not here, but later. Got it.
Yeah. Tequila and I like tequila. It's like the only hard liquor that I can really drink straight. I don't like the taste of alcohol. I don't drink a lot, but tequila is okay. And but I get really mouthy and do stupid things on tequila. So anyway.
Heard.
Can't think of anything.
Not that I'm not
True.
mouthy already, but you know, more
What?
mouthy than usual.
Who? You? No.
Yeah, me.
You're not mouthy, you're adamant. And there's
This
nothing
is
wrong
true.
with adamant.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
There
I'm
was,
adamant about things. Like, I get shitty. People come into work. Some guy was sticking food in his pocket, and I caught him, and he said, "Oh, I was going to buy it. I was just putting it in my pocket to hold it." And I said, "Yeah, because people do that in my store." No. And he said, You're just targeting me because I'm Spanish." And I was like, What? And he goes, "Yeah, you're prejudiced because you're white. You're just targeting me because I'm Spanish." I got mad. And I was like, "Let me tell you something, buddy. I am not prejudiced at all." And so my coworker Shelly, she's always the one that catches the thieves. So she comes around the corner and she's like, "What's going on?" Because I start yelling because not yelling, but raised voice. So she comes around the corner and she's like, "Get out of my store!" She just starts kicking him out, and I'm mad. And as the guy's walking out the door, I'm walking up to the register because I have customers up there, and I walking up there, and I said to him, "And by the way, just so you know, asshole, I thought you were a white dude from behind." But that shit pisses. Don't you judge me. Look, I'm in the gay community. Why the would I be prejudiced? I know what it's like.
Yeah.
You know? Just like I don't understand black people that hate people that are in the LGBTQ community. Don't you know what it's like for someone to judge you by how you're dressed or what you look like or anything? Like, why would you judge other people? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 10 minutes. My wee girl's going to phone, so I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Bye, honey. You know what I don't understand is like women that support Trump. I don't get that.
I know, and black people.
And black people, anybody of color, really. Anybody that isn't a white, rich asshole. Like, I don't get it at all. And I've had conversations with people about, like, you don't see what he's doing to, our rights in this country and stuff. And no, but he's doing so much and he's winning so much. Like, but he's not, though. Like, what has he actually done?
I mean, if you're rich and white, you go, man. That's your guy right there.
Yeah, I mean, he's given the super rich a bunch of tax breaks that has broken our country economically and financially, and now he wants to take away from all the entitlements because he gave these tax breaks. Like, yeah, that's great. Let's take food out of poor kids' mouths because you wanted your friends to not have to pay taxes. That's really fucked up.
Well, honestly, that in a nutshell is the biggest problem with our country. The biggest problem with our country is big money runs this country. Yeah. And as long as big money runs it, which is never going to stop, we're never going to have them taxed properly. They wrote loopholes into the tax laws on purpose. They know what they are, and they use them all the time, but they don't apply to us little guys. So we're paying most of the taxes. And it's just not going to change. As long as you have somebody that is in the pocket of big money in the White House and the administration it's just not going to change.
Well,
It's
we've
just going to keep going
absolutely
like that.
become an oligarchy in this country. We really have. I mean,
I don't know the exact definition of that. I'm not going to lie and say I do.
it means, for the most part, a bunch of the richest people have the most power. Russia is an oligarchy, so but by definition, we are not, defined as an oligarchy. We're a representative a democratic republic, whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
But it, for all intents and purposes, America has become an oligarchy. Absolutely. Especially
Okay, so my general idea of it was correct then. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what's going on.
What do you think, Mr. Shadow Kitty?
Plato remarked about that in the book The Republic, that's the inevitability of when you mishandle a democratic situation, that it will end up being an oligarchy.
And it's true. I mean, I understand the need for making money and everything. Competition drives everything, and it helps. I see it help in the science part of the world. If we're getting the money and we're competing with each other, we do more. But at the same time, when you put that much, emphasis on finances and corporations in our country now, corporations are technically people, which I don't fucking get. It ruins everybody underneath.
Yes.
Sorry, I got political. I'll shut up now.
No, go ahead. I don't care. We could talk about whatever you want. Speak your mind, lady.
No, that was it. This country is not great at the moment. It's really depressing.
Zool said, stop believing CNN people. I said, stop believing any of the news outlets.
People need to go to different sources for your news. Too many people stick with one source, especially people that watch Fox. Like, that's the only thing they watch. It's the only place they get their information from, and it's fucked. And it's the same thing on our side, though. If you're just going to MSNBC or if you're just going to CNN, you need to go out and find your information from multiple sources. You need to look for yourself. You need to think fucking critically, because this is stupid. Don't just believe everything you hear.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, if I see a story and I'm like, oh, is this true? I will go look at 3 or 4 other news outlets to see if it says the same thing. The common denominator is usually the closest to the truth you'll ever get.
Yeah.
But the stuff that varies, that sounds opinionated, it's because it's opinionated.
Yeah. You can't sit and watch, like, there's so many of those fucking talking head shows on, like, Fox and stuff where they come on and if there's no data, there's no information, nothing. It's just them telling their opinions, and people take that in as if it's real, as if they're telling the truth. And I know for a fact that there's a connection between the White House and Fox, because they have a script every day that they go down. Everybody who is on gets a script that says this is what you need to talk, and a lot of that script is what is sent over the White House from the GOP, who is controlling the White House. This is not a conspiracy theory. This has been proven facts, by the way. So I'm not just spouting nonsense.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Fucking nuts. There's no. It has become, Fox News is state TV propaganda at this moment, and it's scary. That scares the shit out of me, because so many people watch it and believe it and take it in as if it's just the God's honest truth, and it scares me.
Yeah, that's one of the problems we have, is that a lot of people grew up like all of us. We grew up in a time when we were kids, what was on the news was the truth.
Yeah.
It was, you could watch it and know that was a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to this point in time and these people are still watching the news going, well, the news is saying it, because they just always believe them.
Well, the issue
they don't think
is
to say, this might be wrong.
Yeah. And the whole 24-hour news thing is not helping, because they just feel the need to fill shit in. Whereas before, you got the news at like 10:30 p.m. plus you got a newspaper in the morning. And I mean, it was well researched and they were real journalists. Now it's get the pretty blonde bitches with the big boobs to sit up there and talk about hydroxychloroquine, and it's fucking
the good looking dude with the big dick, right?
yeah.
Yes, whoever we can put on there to attract people, and we need to make good stories because we want to get the attention and we want everybody to pay to watch us and blah 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 blah, and those ads, and now it's just a big it's like just a business. It's just ads for a commercial business right now. That's all it is. Let's just see how many people we can get to believe us and listen to our shit and continue to listen to our shit. So you just don't know who to believe anymore. I just don't believe any of them.
Yeah.
You know, you're a talking head on the TV. You could about guarantee I don't believe everything that's coming out of your mouth. I probably believe 5 to 10% of it.
Yeah. Like I said, you just gotta look for different sources. You have to find the information yourself. You can't just take it all in as if everything is fact. And yeah, it's work, but it's better than being that asshole that's, you know, talking about what was said on the, I'm doing air quotes right now, you can't see me, news, right? And it's fucking complete and utter horseshit. Yeah, thank you. So.
Yes, complete and utter horseshit is correct. So what do you think there, Math Pig? How you doing today, buddy?
I wasn't listening.
We were just talking about how all the news outlets are full of shit and how the government is in the pocket of big money. That's all. Nothing serious.
Even PBS, they say made possible from viewers like you, but there's also made possible by sponsors like ExxonMobil. So PBS is not going to be too caustic about criticizing ExxonMobil when they're one of their biggest benefactors.
Yep. Hard to espouse about climate change when one of your benefactors is fucking big oil. And I've noticed that as well, because they did actually used to have stuff on about it, and then it got less and less, and now it's just a lot of PBS right now is just the fiction shows that they make and everything. They don't put as much actual information and like documentaries and stuff on anymore, and it's kind of sad. Although I do like some of the shows on PBS, like, you know, Downton Abbey and shit. So I won't lie.
You know, go ahead.
PBS YouTube channels like PBS Eons and PBS Spacetime and things like that are fantastic. That's where all the documentaries are now, Pat.
Okay, you can show me.
I will.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, one of the few, I listen to NPR if I'm in my vehicle and I want to listen to something interesting. And the main reason I like NPR is they can have two people on that are opposing and they don't take sides and they treat them the same. And that's why I like NPR, because I think that's the only thing left that you don't have to search the internet for that tries to put decent news out. Now, they are swayed against Trump, but most people are.
But yeah, that's just logic. That's not really bias.
Exactly.
Shit.
And Leia says hi.
Sorry about that. That's the thing.
Nels, I gotta tell you.
The Yipper dog starts barking, so it makes Leia bark. Just,
yeah. That is one cute baby you have right there.
He'll sit here all day. I can't keep him off my lap half the time.
Oh.
The noises my dog was making this morning was freaking.
Your dog is so fucking weird.
I've never heard a dog made that noise before.
It sounds like a broken chew toy. It's fucking weird.
Like,
yeah,
that's dog noise.
Oh,
it's impossible to actually make it. I think Pod is the only one that can make that noise, and it's fucking weird.
So annoying this morning. It's just like, fuck off. He just puts it all up underneath your elbow and everything underneath your arm, and it's just like, hello. then lies on you and shakes and makes stupid noises. It's like, I'm trying to do something here. It's worse than a cat.
He just doesn't like it when you give other people attention. My dog is Leia has pushed Angel off the bed when like I'll be cuddling with Angel and she'll get in between and just shove him off the bed. She's like, no, fuck this, I get attention now.
I'm the baby.
Yeah. Actually, Matt heard a fight between the two of them last night because she wouldn't get off the bed and he was yelling at her.
And it was because you were so nice to the dog. Oh, you like, get off the bed, Leah. Get off the bed. And I'm in the other I'm in the hangout going, kick the dog. Just kick the dog. Come on, lady, go gently off the bed. Kick the dog. Just kick the dog off the bed.
Just kick the dog.
What happened when he tried to actually physically move her? She growled and yipped. So, right. And she never does that. Like, that's the only time she ever does that. If you try to move her off the bed, she'll do that. So
Pot did that once on Elena, and I told Elena to smack him on the nose, and she did that, and he's never done it again. Now he knows. He's like, fuck, that doesn't work on her. Shit.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta let him know who's boss, you know?
Oh, he knows his pack order. It's me, then the child, and then him, and then everybody else.
Yeah. Right. That's like my cats when I come home. They both come to the door, of course, and greet me because they love me. And my baby girl, if I start petting the boy and stop petting her or don't pet her first, she turns her back away from me and walks away like, nope, I'm supposed to be number one. So I literally have to like pet her and then sneak a pet in on him when she turns her back and then go back to petting her so she doesn't see it. If she sees it, she gets mad at me and walks away.
That's why I only have one dog and one kid. I can give them all the attention and they're not assholes about it. So
yeah, well, that's what I started out, but I could not adopt him. I didn't want to let him go to the shelter, so I ended up with 2. I only wanted one.
I have give Pot a massive big bone from the butchers, like a fucking knuckle bone off a cow or something, like big giant knee bone, but a huge thing. And he's sitting in the front yard and eating it, and the child just walks over and lifts it off him and runs off. And he just walks up to me and sits in front of me as if to say, that bitch just took my snack. Can you like sort that? And like,
Dad.
Down and I'll say, he'd maybe look up at her and then he'll take it out of his mouth and just look at her and go, don't, that's mine. And she just takes it and runs off. Fuck you.
It's really weird that your dog is the same age as my kid, though. Like, I don't know. Your dog is old, and it's weird.
My dog is old, but he's not that. Well, he's 16, but he's old enough. He's fucking fit though. He'll go now.
He is. He's just,
he's a cunt.
I'm not gonna say he's a cunt. He is a cunt,
right?
Moody. I'll say he's moody.
My dog is a cunt. Okay, this is an example of how my dog is a cunt. He has his own 2-seater leather sofa that is there for him to sit on, not my 3-seater. He also has the dog bed, the mat in front of the fire, anywhere he can want to go. And I have 2 cushions, pillows that I would use to lie down in the 3-seater with if I'm watching TV. And he decides to sleep on them. Then he wakes up and licks his balls on them. And then when I eventually catch him and tell him to get off the pillows, he maneuvers himself down. It takes him about 60 seconds because he's rubbing his balls the whole way across the pillow as he slides down onto the floor. Looking at me the entire
yesterday.
Oh this is why you don't have male dogs. That's is why.
What I fucking said to him. Is that not exactly what I said to you?
It is. He's a cunt. He's just a cunt. He's just looking me dead in the eye the entire time going, I hope this smells nice tomorrow when you're sleeping.
Oh. My cat sometimes will come to wake me up and he just plops his ass on my pillow. And I'm like, dude, my face goes there. Get off. I smack him on the butt. Not too hard, but he moves. He knows better than that shit. He knows his head and his head's allowed on the pillow, but not the rest of him. Huh?
Leia's favorite place to get scratched is right above her tail on her butt. So she'll come up to me in the bed while I'm sitting here, and she'll, cuddle up to me, but then she'll turn around and put her butt right in my face, like, come scratch my butt for me.
Can you scratch that for me?
Yeah. You don't need to put your ass right in my face, though. It's unnecessary.
He's almost sat on my face before, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is that? Like, my female cat doesn't do that. But
Watch
they
it
have
up in
one
the
thing in
morning.
common. If I'm laying in bed on my back and they go to walk across me, every paw finds my boobs.
Yep. Oh
Guaranteed.
my God. Yeah.
So I just automatically do this, and I just leave my hand there. And they walk across my arm. But no matter what, that's where their paws hit.
The 45-pound dog who decides that she's going to step on your boobs. This is not very comfortable.
I mean, I have a 17-pound cat. Fuck that.
Jesus Christ.
Pot wakes up in the morning. The first thing he usually does is he jumps up on the sofa beside you and snuggles in under your armpit and sort of comes up between your elbow and your body. And then he looks you straight in the face and then he sneezes in your face because his nose has been itched from trying to get in underneath you. And then he walks away. She's seen this as well. This is why when people wonder why I call my dog a cunt, this is why, because he's a cunt.
Yep, dogs are better than cats.
Yes, definitely.
They are. Fuck off.
My cat has never rubbed his balls on my pillows. He doesn't do that. I'm just saying. That's a big mark right there.
You don't know that he doesn't do that. He could be doing that all day long while you're at work.
Oh, no. That gets covered up with the sheet and the blanket. I don't leave that pillow exposed. Are you kidding me?
See, that's how you work it, Matt Pig. You put something over it, or you don't leave the pillow on the couch when you're not sitting there.
Do you want to see the second layer?
Hold on.
Seats that have already been covered with another layer of leather because he dug through the actual leather down to the foam?
Yes.
See, I feel like this is poor discipline on your part. I'm just saying.
Oh, trust me, the dog is
Leia ate our kitchen floor when she was a puppy. I came home and she had ripped up 3/4 of the linoleum in our kitchen floor. Yeah.
Pot's a good dog. Don't get me wrong, he is a good dog. He just has fucking attitude and he's an asshole. He's just fuck you. I know exactly what you're saying. I'll maybe do it today. Tomorrow I will, but today, no, you're just annoying me.
Yeah, I think it's partially your fault. I think Amanda's right. And it's partially your fault because you don't cover up or move the pillows.
Yep.
All you have to do is put them up somewhere.
Yes, it's not that fucking hard.
I'm going to smack you.
We will not discuss our BDSM play here in front of everybody, Math Pig. It's not right.
She always used to laugh at me at the start. I had to change what I have said to the dog because he's always had his own seat. You know, he always gets the old seat whenever we get a new one, so he's got somewhere to sit. And I always would tell him to get up and lie down.
Because it's fucking weird.
And lie down. And I've said that for fucking maybe 10 years longer. And she's like, what did you just tell the dog to do? And I was like, told him to get up and lie down. She wanted him to get up and then lie down again.
Sounds idiotic. I'm sorry.
The dog's like, what?
No, the dog knows it means get up on the sofa.
Oh. It's everybody else that doesn't understand it. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't see what the dog was doing. I just heard him say it, and it just made no sense. Still doesn't. So. You also tell Pot that nobody loves him. So.
Sometimes he's being an asshole.
God, no wonder he's an asshole. Nobody loves you. Well, fuck you, man.
What you said, how you said.
Absolutely your fault. Absolutely. All of it. He does it because you're
Why did I come here again?
What?
What?
Oh.
Sorry.
The worst my cats do is every morning when I get up, I like start coffee, scoop the cat box, water feed, and then by the time I'm done with that, they're meowing at me. Can you open the door? Because I really want to look outside. Like that's the worst thing they do. They bug the shit. I'm like, hold on, I'm not even dressed yet. Like, let me put some clothes on.
You open the door so they can look outside?
Yeah, I haven't put my windows in yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
They don't like
I
run
need to.
out or
I'm
anything.
actually, huh?
They don't like run outside when you open the door.
Oh, I have a those Velcro or magnetic big thick screens they make.
Okay.
I have one of those, and I have it Velcroed to the side for right now. I'm gonna buy some wood and make a because I didn't want a screen door because it just doesn't have enough room for it to be like like when I'm not using it for it to be not closed shut. So I'm gonna make a bifold screen door and use that same screen on it because it's really tough and they hang off of it and everything, and it does not tear, rip, move. So it's really sturdy. So I'm going to use that same screen, and I'm going to make a bifold door so I can fold it back into my bathroom area when I'm not using it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they've gotten out a couple times, like when I had to chase him down with the dog. So.
I can let Leia outside and she'll like wander for a minute, but then the minute she realizes she can't see me, she freaks out. So she pretty much never leaves my side. I mean, unless I leave the house and she just cries and cries and cries. But I work from home, so I mean, I'm always around. That was the thing when we got her. I was the one at home because I was working from home then too. So I was the one always around. So she's attached to me, and she, except when I take a shower, she runs and hides under the bed because she's afraid of that. She hates getting baths. But otherwise, she's always within a couple feet from me, no matter what. So
no, when I take a shower, my cats are like moving the curtain. Oh, there's water. Sometimes when I had a big full-size tub, they would get on the edge of the tub at the back of the shower, and then the water would hit them and they'd run away. But they're just so curious. Like, they love water. They love to play with it. It's weird. Like, cats shouldn't like to play with water.
No,
so
they should.
Sometimes you're like, you got a leg up and you're shaving, and all of a sudden there's a cat like peeking, and you can see him like between your legs. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
There's water.
I had a cat that loved water. We had to keep the toilet lid closed because he'd reach out and like play sloshies with the water in the toilet.
Play sloshies. Slosh, slosh, slosh. I mean, either keep the toilet lid closed or put a fake fish in there so you can have something to play with. One of the two.
We take Pot to the river and would throw the stones, and they chase the stone out into the middle of the river, and then it lands and it goes plop, and then he looks back at you. He's like, "Where the fuck did it go?" And sits there and barks at you till you throw another one. He threw one for him fucking not 2 weeks ago. She threw one for him and hit him right in the middle of the fucking head. It was like it wasn't a stone, it wasn't a rock, but it was bigger than a stone. And poor dog was just bah, 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 fucking don't hit the dog.
Throw it away from the dog, not at the dog. This is
she's
not a
hit me
ball. We're
with
not playing
stones.
catch.
She's hit me with the bloody stones too. She loves throwing stones into the water, and I'd be out in the middle of the fucking river, not allowed back out of the river because she's like, "You stay there, daddy. You catch me small fish. Here's a net and a bucket." Sends you out into the middle of the river and then throws stones at you. She's great.
Definitely your child.
Yeah. Although if you're talking about,
I do this by myself.
If you're talking about kids that are like their parents, there's, Angel. It's
That's
really
what I
hard
tell everybody.
when your kid is
ahead,
just like you, though. Like it's like, oh, it's so fucking aggravating, and you hear him throw like your words back in your face, and teenagers suck. I'm sorry.
Why do you think the call was so fucking short? I rang up and the first thing Elena said was, "Where's Pot?" Right? "There's the dog. Do you want to talk to daddy?" "No, I'm going to go make tea." And walked off to get a fucking fake teapot to make tea. I was like, right, left me on the stairs. Can someone help me? I had to get caught and brought back up to the child. Bitch.
Time to make tea. See you, Dad.
Yeah. And don't dare ask her for a kiss when you're in the middle of a call, because when she reaches forward and kisses the screen, her nose touches the call. Then it comes up to hang up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm pressing the button," and just hangs up on you, just for the sake of pressing the button. Like. Oh.
Oh my God. Yeah, I accidentally cloned myself, and besides the big boobs and she's got her dad's chin, she's pretty much me.
Yeah.
And that poor child. And so
Angel-
sometimes I get mad at her. And I go, man, I did that when I was her age. Like, how mad can I be at her?
Mm,
You know?
yeah,
I'll tell her, you need to think before you do that. But then I'm like, I did that exact same thing. I can't.
Well, at his age, I hid everything from my parents. Like, they thought I was the perfect kid, and I was not. But I know everything Angel does. Most everything Angel does is, he's very open with me about it. But now he not only looks a lot like me, I see, a lot of my features in him, but because it was just me and him for most of his life, he's just talks like me. He's got a fucking attitude like me, which is very difficult to deal with. So, yeah.
Yeah,
like
no, my kid,
you accidentally cloned yourself.
yeah, I literally did. And the weird thing is, I mean, most of you probably know, I don't know, who knows, but I wasn't, her dad took off her when she was a year and a half, because I gave her up for adoption. He took custody of her behind my back. And so he took off with her when she was a year and a half, and I didn't find her for 14 years. So 13 and a half years, something like that. So she didn't even grow up around me. And she is a duplicate. She does the same. She's a sucker. She's too nice. She lets people use her. She loves too easily. Like, she is just, I mean, it just proves it's genetic, and it's not how you're raised. You're either going to have those traits or you're not. It's just genetics. I know it. It has to be. My brother never met my mother, my oldest brother, because she had him. She was product of a drunken rape, from what we know, and she had him right before she turned 18, and they gave him up for adoption, and he found us in 1998, and he never met her, and he's more like her than anybody else in my family. He's like a mom duplicate. He's built like her. He has her feet. Music, science, intelligent, care. Like, he's a duplicate of her. He's more like her than anybody else in the family. So,
isn't it like epigenetics or something?
I don't know. I just say it's genetics. I don't know all those terms.
I know. I sat and watched the whole lecture about epigenetics, and most of it was just like way over my head. But I stroke my chin and nod like I understand.
A lot of it can be environmental as well. Like, I would be an awful lot like my stepfather, and don't get me wrong, he's been around, maybe 6 or 7 years, technically longer than my actual father was. But I would be the mannerisms, the way I talk, the way I approach things and things like that. That's all my stepdad. My ma's fucking sick of it. Like, I have to fucking live with him, and then I have to put up with you too.
Well, epigenetics is about heritable genotypes, and so yeah, I guess that makes sense. Sorry, well, I won't.
It's interesting.
One of the things my mom used to say, if I was like being particularly obstinate, she would say, "You're getting more and more like your father every day." And I'm like, "Mom, don't say that, please."
Ugh, yeah. I'm not like either of my parents, thank fucking God. So
I've noticed that about the mother of the child. Every time that Elena misbehaves, she's like, "You need to go sort your daughter," and I'm like, "Oh, it's my daughter. Oh yes, she fucked up. It's your daughter. You need to go. That's you.
Right.
That's all you. She's throwing a temper because of you. You go sort that." Right.
Yeah, and if she's looking cute and perfect, it's her kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right. That's the laws of parenting. You don't know that?
The ginger temper's starting to come out now too, which is just fantastic.
Was that truly fantastic or sarcastically fantastic?
Well, it's good and it's nice in certain ways, because she's definitely independent and stands up for herself. She is like, I'm big, does everything. If she can do it by herself, she will do it by herself, and which is good. She doesn't really have any fear. But then at the same time, you know, you turn your back for 2 seconds and she's walked out to the middle of the river, a foot from the edge of the waterfall, going, "Daddy, look at me! Get in! No, come and get me! I've water in my boots! Fuck's sake! Fuck off, Lord, no!"
Yeah, you sent me that picture with her standing out in the middle of the river, looking at you like, "What?
Yeah, no.
What? I don't understand what's wrong right now."
At least she knows, though, if you look at the picture, when she gets close to the edge, I have taught her when you're close to the edge to lie on your belly. So she does know that. She's like, she knows not to fall off. But still, as a parent with a 3-year-old and them at a waterfall, you're like, nah, come here, don't move, come here.
What happened? Well, she was standing by the edge of the water. Next thing I knew, she was over the falls. Oh, goodness. Hi, Brain Bug. And yes, Seraphim, she's adorable. That little girl with that hair and that complexion. She has like that porcelain skin and the beautiful, perfect colored red hair. And Jesus, are you sure that's your kid? Because she's really cute.
Hey.
Hey, I've said that about myself. Like, my daughter was so fucking cute when she was little. I was like, did they mix these up at the hospital? Because I don't think I could produce one that adorable. Like, she was just, oh my God, cute. The perfect curly blonde hair, the bright blue eyes. She was just adorable.
Yeah, Angel was adorable until he hit puberty. He's just awkward. Well, he's like me. When I was his age, I was, very tall and very, very skinny. I could not gain any weight. He's like 5'11" and about 110 pounds right now. Yeah, he can't gain any weight at all. So he is super duper skinny. And I thought it was because I was a gymnast, so and a dancer, and I couldn't, I just did a lot of stuff. So, but he did track for a few years, but he hasn't for like a year. It's not like he does a lot, but he still can't gain any weight. So he's just like that, like the same as I was.
I had a friend growing up, and he was always really skinny, and he had kind of like that barrel chest to him, where the chest kind of sticks out a little more. And he was always really scrawny and never had any muscle on him. And we all graduated, from high school and lost track of him. And then a couple of years ago, I found him. About 7-8 years ago, I found him on Facebook. He is like this muscly ass, like brick shithouse guy now. It's so, I saw him and I went, Jesus, I didn't see that coming.
You share screen.
Huh? Oh yeah, hold on. So I think some people just take a while to the hell is going on here?
There's a big thing underneath that says Math Pig Scratch. There you go. That's her just.
I had to scroll down. Yeah, that's the one you sent me.
Yeah. Fucking walked out into the middle of the river. Hello. There's one with a Knickerbocker glory. And then
milkshake.
There's one there. Her with a dog. I think that's send you no more. Yeah. That's it.
I think you'd think that dog would just pull her around. Does he listen to her?
Oh yes, 100%. Because I have told her every time that dog pulls, you just stop where you are and you pull in the lead. And she stops and she pulls on the lead and she goes, "I'm the boss!" And she shouts at the dog, and the dog stops. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't give her the dog when we're walking down to the river, because he is very excitable and he would pull and stuff. That I always give her the dog on the way back up from the river, because he's been running around for a half an hour. He's a wee bit tired out and stuff. But no, he listens to her perfectly, 100%. Like, she even shouts heel at him and all whenever she hears me shouting it, and she's very good with the dog.
That's great.
I'll send you a video later. She throws her hands up in the air and she's like, "Up and big, up and big," and then the dog gets up on his 2 back legs and she throws treats for him.
Have you ever heard that song about the guy that, like, he's talking about his girlfriend gets pregnant and the kid's gonna ruin his life, and control it, and then the kid gets older, and then the kid's really controlling his life. Like that's what it's like with kids like that, man. They're you watch, she's gonna be like 14, and you're gonna be just doing whatever she says. So it's gonna happen.
Teenage girls are worse than
'Cause you're
teenage boys. You're fucked. Sorry.
It's true. It's true. Teenage girls are freaking hard-headed, man. Oh my god.
Yeah.
My daughter was hard-headed until like the last couple of years. She finally started adulting better.
Right? This is how independent my wee girl is, right? This tries everything. Share screen again there, B.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to be ready.
I'm shaving the head. She comes in and takes the clippers off me. Shaves my head for me. Wants to try everything. Absolutely everything. Has no fucking fear. Like,
That's good though, man. That just means she's apt to learn. That's awesome.
yeah, definitely. That's in her. She's very, very inquisitive, always poking around and trying to see how things work.
Craziness.
Oh, we've had to take her out of the front seat of the car. She's took the keys, get into the car, put them in the ignition. You know, fucking near turned the car on. Only her legs were longer and she could have reached the pedal. She'd have put the car in the wall. Brody got the blame for that as well, of course, for teaching her how to drive. But
yeah, you're supposed to wait till they can reach the pedals before you start doing that, man.
No. You put them on your knee and then you do the pedals for them and you let them drive around the yard. No? Just me? Okay.
No, just you.
I have a video where I'm in the car and she's doing the steering and you can just see the car veering towards my ma's house and it's like, no, we're going to straighten that steering wheel back up again.
No, over here.
Yeah.
No, no, over here. Oh, that's good shit.
Yeah.
Nels let his cat drive before, I think.
What's that?
I said you let your cat drive before, I think, right?
Oh, no, when I brought him home the first day, he got out of the carrier and he climbed up on me while I'm driving my van, and he climbed up on my shoulder and he sat there the whole time like a parrot. And he's just like watching traffic go by as I'm driving down Route 35, and it's like, you just think this is the in-flight movie or something, don't you? So rode home on my shoulder for the whole half hour.
That's funny.
When
I went to take bring my tiny home over here, and I put the cats in the back of the truck, and I had them in a big, like a extra large dog sized carrier, so they had plenty of room to run around and play. And then once they got comfortable with being in the truck and they stopped freaking out, I opened it up, and so my little girl kept trying to crawl under the pedals, and then she would get up on top of the dashboard. I'm like, no, really. You're too big for that. I need to see. You gotta lay down or something. So she kept like just jumping up there. I wouldn't even see her. I'm just driving along, watching traffic. All of a sudden, there's a cat in my view. Yeah.
Leia
So she kept doing
loved
that.
going in the car. I used to go have to pick up Angel every day for from track, and she'd be like, "Yeah, let's go," and she'd try to like climb on my lap to put her head out the window while I was driving. Like, no, go sit over there. She would just get so excited and just be like all over the place. So I would keep opening up the back windows, like one, and then I close it and the other, so she'd go back and forth between the two of them. But yeah, yeah, she still would want to climb into my lap.
So you have to like play with the windows while you're driving to keep the dog busy. Got it.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, that was funny. Doubting Thomas said, raise a boy, you only have to worry about one dick. Raise a girl, you have to worry about all of them.
Yep.
Oh,
It's where the baseball bat and the shotgun comes in handy, buddy.
Yeah, I got an air rifle and a shotgun. Spent an entire summer training with the air rifle. Anybody out to 30, 40 meters is fucked.
Good luck with that.
It's only an air rifle. It'll not kill them. It'll just let them know you don't do that again.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not going to matter. They will find a way. You know that you did when you were their age, and so will they.
Right. Well,
I should, I should find that.
Before we ruin her innocence, share screen again there, B.
Okay.
She's 3 days older. I think she's only 3 days old. She looked well for 3 days. This one, she's about 2 weeks, which is very cute. And that one is just me messing around with a jacket. Somebody bought her with a far too big of a hood, and I just couldn't resist taking a picture like that. That's the jacket was fine.
You could just wrap it all the way around her body. It's so big.
The fucking hood was massive. Who makes a jacket like that for babies? You know, the coat fit perfectly. What the fuck were they thinking with the hood? Oh.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Sorry, I always talk too much about her. I need to shut up about it.
No, it's fine. I love that you're the proud pork papa.
Oh, I have to hold back. I would literally just talk about Angel all the time. And I know half of it's like he's an asshole or whatever, but I love the stupid kid. So he's a good kid. He's just, a teenager. So he's trying to get over his life.
In saying that, B, I just looked at the time. I'm going to have to go now, maybe in the next 5-10 minutes or so, and get ready for my show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What time are you starting, buddy?
Well, it's in an hour, but I need to go set up the links and stuff like that and send them to Chris and go get cigarettes from the shop and stuff like so.
All right. Well, when you get that set up, throw the link in over here, and then we'll all hop over and come see you.
I already have it done. Give me a second. Oh, I'm on the wrong account. Not like I have too many MathPig accounts or anything like.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's nice to own 1 to 10.
It's nice that what? Huh?
To own 1 to 10 of the MathPig accounts.
If you actually
I know
all the MathPig YouTube accounts, they're all mine. I own 10 of them, and every one of them sends you to my main channel. Fuck them.
And who is 11?
Either Dave or Nerdy. It's one of the others because at the start they asked me for my icons and we were doing stuff back and forth and working on the pictures and stuff. So I know that both of them have all my icons and all my pictures, the wee fuckers. Right.
Amanda, I don't know if you can see that picture very well I sent you, but I'm all the way on the left with my big poofy 80s hair.
Oh.
I don't think I have that on my laptop, so I can't show anybody those pictures, but
the dress is just so bad though. The wedding dress. Not your dress, the wedding dress.
Oh, the what? Oh yeah, but that was 1988. That was the shit.
So bad.
That was like $1,000 dress back then. That was expensive.
Yeah, it's
like 10,000.
What are you?
Yeah, I know, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's pretty funny.
Right, you all want to see something really scary.
What are you looking for?
Show me.
Right, share screen again. This is me when I'm about 11 with my mum. This is like 1990 something. Yes, that is a giant.
Oh, we know where the red hair came from.
It's a giant inflatable hammer.
Oh, it is a hammer. Hilarious. Oh my goodness. That's funny. Yeah, Amanda, that one, my other sister got married 4 months later after my first sister, so I wore the same dress to her wedding because I didn't have any dresses, and I had already chopped my hair off for the army. So you can see the difference in 3 months'
Very
time.
shiny though. The dress is very, very shiny.
Oh yes, and it was very hot, and it was horrible. And those freaking puffy sleeves, and my arms are a little bigger than most women, so the elastic was like squeezing the shit out of my arm the entire time. Both weddings. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I've worn that material before, like in bridesmaids dresses, and it's not. Yeah, it doesn't breathe at all. It's not comfortable. Plus, it makes that crinkly sound.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that was just the most horrible. I mean, the weddings were fun, and there was like, it was, amazing, happy events, but I was just miserable in that dress and felt like I was, like I don't know, wolf in sheep's clothing, a pig with lipstick. This
I've
does
only worn
not
lipstick
suit
once,
me.
I very
okay?
rarely wear dresses, but I think I wear them pretty well, so I don't feel too uncomfortable with them. Mostly because when you wear a
Yeah.
dress, you have to wear really cool shoes, and I'm a shoe girl, so I love my shoes.
How old was he when he was born, and why was he in the NICU for 3 months?
He inhaled stuff because they wouldn't give me, long story, they wouldn't give me an epidural, and I had minute apart contractions for 6 hours. And so he was in distress and he couldn't oxygenate correctly. So when they intubated him, they scarred his lungs, and he was, 3 different hospitals, 3 months. It was a lot. So
Wow.
yeah, and he came home with the G tube and round the clock medications and nebulizers and all this shit. So that lasted until he was 8 months old, and I did all of that myself. So
Right. I was dating this woman when I was living in West Virginia for a year, trying to help my nephews out, and I was dating this woman that lived up in Pittsburgh, and it was only like an hour and a half drive from where I lived. So I go up and visit her, and during the time I was dating her, her daughter went into early labor, had twins, and the twins ended up being in the ICU, in the NICU for, oh God, it was like 5 or 6 weeks. It was at least 5 or 6 weeks, because they had to wait for them to get so big, so much weight. They had to be able to fit in an infant carrier before they were allowed to go home. They were, in incubators for a while, and they were so small. I'm telling you, those babies, I could fit them on my hand when they were born.
yeah.
That's how tiny they were. And then I had a picture somewhere of the first day they came home, and I was holding one of them because, I don't know, like this little baby just liked me better than the other one. It was really weird. It's kind of like a cat, like he imprinted on me.
Yeah.
And his head was so small, it just fit right in the palm of my hand, and I was just had his head like this, holding him with his body on my arm, and I would just hold him like that because he was just so tiny. Like they were just like, all they had was heads, this big head, this little tiny body, and they made it through the whole thing. They were very high risk. They said if they would have been born like 6 or 7 days sooner or 5 days sooner, they wouldn't have made it. They were 1.9 pounds and 2.1 pounds when they were born.
And yet they
And
were only
so
there for like 6 weeks, and Angel was there for fucking 3 months. Yeah.
maybe it was, I don't know, it's hard for me to
No,
remember now because it was a while
that's
back.
normal for that. I
They're
get
like
that.
6 years old now, but I mean, they're happy, healthy, intelligent, beautiful children. She got really lucky, but yeah, no, the point is that I understand how scary it is to look through that. I mean, I was really attached to those babies, and her daughter was like a second daughter to me for a while there, So
Yeah.
it was really hard to look through that in that incubator, and you gotta you can touch them a little bit, but they got
Yeah.
all these wires sticking out of them. It's rough. I get it.
It took
I mean,
weeks for them to let me hold him. That was really fucking hard. Like they gave him to me right after he was born. It was 6 seconds I held him, and then it was weeks after I was able to hold him again, and that was fucking hard. It really was. So
yeah. Yeah, they did the same thing with her. They started letting her pull one out at a time for a couple minutes and then put them back in the incubator. And yeah, that's rough. Like I went there for all those visits whenever I could.
So Maspig and I better go bounce.
Yes. Need to go
Yeah,
get
yeah,
ready.
yeah.
But thank you for
Good.
having
Did
us.
you?
I
Yeah,
have the link.
throw that in here before I take off, and we'll all hop over and see you guys.
I'll leave a copy in the private chat for you, sure. And then anytime you need it, it's there. Totally not self-shilling my channel at all. Everybody go to my channel. I'm only 10 subs away from
Yeah,
600.
everybody go to
9. I'm only 9
You're how
subs
many?
from 600.
Nice, buddy.
All right, I'm gonna fix that. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mr. Shadow Kitty, and everybody in the chat. And we will see you
Nice
all.
chatting with you again.
You too, anytime. Bye, you guys.
Talk to you all later. Thanks, Kitty. Big
sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
appreciate you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, my favorite couple.
They're so
That's
nice.
funny. They like clicked it at the same time.
They'll finish each other's sentences soon.
Oh, yeah, good. There's a link. So how much time we have? Oh, we got a little bit before we gotta get off of here. Oh my God. Anywho. Those two are a hoot. They're so cute. I love
Yeah.
that they're so crazy about each other. Like, that's the best feeling. I remember having a relationship like that years ago, and I mean, I still love her. I'm always gonna love her, but just that connection and that feeling. It didn't matter if because I was an over the road truck driver at the time. I could have been in Seattle, Washington, and I still felt so connected to her, like she was right there. So it's a great feeling.
Yeah, I've had a few people in my life that I had a favorable rapport.
Favorable rapport. I like it. How long have you been with your wife, anyways? I think I meant to ask you that. And forgot.
We met November 21st, 1993. And she was 23 and she was 23 and I was 36. She was just home from college. I mean, like home permanently from college. She finished college and moved back with their parents.
Okay. And were you guys were around where you live now when you met?
Yeah, more or less the same county.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. So have you always lived there? You've never lived anywhere else?
Yeah. I never go anywhere.
Damn it, man. You know what you guys should do? When all this calms down and money's settled and stuff, you should just come out here and visit me. That's what you should do.
Oh, we mentioned that a few times. It's like now since I've been with this community, it's like we know people in Europe and West Coast in the South, and it's like, boy, I would really love to make a real life traveling visit and just check in on some of the nice folks that I've met and meet them in real life.
Yeah, I would love to just like pop over to the UK and just be like, hey, Dave and Math Pig, I'm like 30 minutes away from you. Where are you? You know, I'm an hour from you. Where are you? I'm just gonna come see you right now. I'd love to go see those guys in person. I just love them. They're just good dudes.
Yeah.
I love joking around with Dave, and Math Pig's he's just been amazing with me. And between me and my brother, we've asked him so many stupid questions about how to do all this YouTube and StreamYard and OBS stuff. And him and Dave are just so helpful. And he's like, anytime I bug him, he always answers as soon as he sees it and tries to help me work out whatever. And they spent that one night with me for like an hour playing around with OBS, trying to set it up before I knew I couldn't use it because I don't have a good upload speed. But
yeah, they're both very good at that.
Yeah, they're just good guys, man. It's rare to just bump into people like these guys and you, and Amiga and Sarah. Like, you don't find people like that in day-to-day life, and I'm just I feel very grateful and lucky that um that my brother started talking to all you guys and got me into this community, because I mean, without him I never would have met you people, any of you people, So I wouldn't trade any of you for anything. Well,
I
maybe like a
agree.
few million, but then I'd go find you and then share the money, and then we
Share the
could be
money,
friends
yeah.
again. So yeah, I would. If I was rich, I would share it. I always said if I won the lottery or got some huge check from something, I would figure out how much I could give every single person I really care about and all my friends, and I would just distribute it, keep enough that I'm content, and then just distribute the rest, and
I'd
just to
have
help
to,
people.
because I've always been a poor broke musician since high school. Um, so if I get a large amount of money, I would have no idea what to even do with it.
Oh, I have so many things I would love to do to help people. I can't even tell you. I have a list.
Well, yeah,
I have a
as I've
list.
gotten older, my lottery dreams are more altruistic. 30 years ago, I probably would have been like, wow, I'll get a really great instrument collection. But now it's like,
Yeah,
eh.
yeah. I'm gonna buy 3 trikes and a boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I just want 1 trike. I still want a trike. Because I wanna buy a trike, so when I'm older, I don't have to hold the motorcycle up and I can still ride and be comfortable. Um, but I want to do stuff like go into the city that I'm in and pay to have a building renovated that the city's just letting sit there and go to waste, and house homeless veterans, and have those veterans teach classes to the local people for like $100 a class or something really cheap that you would normally pay 1,500 or 2,000 in some kind of a trade college to learn, and they can live there, and they earn their rent and food by working and teaching these younger generations or older people that don't know how to do stuff on how to do things, and they can live in the top of the building, the bottom can be classrooms. That's what I want to do, because every single city I have been to in a tractor trailer in the 8.5 years I was over the road, and that's a lot of them, all have certain things in common. The city needs cleaned up. The youth needs taught better. They all have homeless veterans, and every single one of them have abandoned buildings that are just sitting there going to waste. So that's what I would want to do. I'd want to start a
I,
campaign to
I have
get
to
that
find
going,
the link
because
for this,
it
but
would solve so many problems.
I was studying urban gardening, and there's a group of guys in Kansas City who take over abandoned houses, and they turn them into hydroponic gardens. And they have this whole, and they've been putting homeless people to work and keeping people out of jail by doing it. And
Good.
yeah, I was really impressed with I have to find the link to who they were and what they were doing. But they were making great changes in the Kansas City area, and using that, like the
Good.
hydroponic or vertical gardening and rain catch.
Well, that's just like I think every prison or jail should have a garden, and the inmates should work it to make their own food, to grow their own food.
Yeah.
That sheriff or whatever in like Arizona or whatever that did that, I think it's great, and I think everybody needs to instill that. First of all, it would save a lot of money for the cost of feeding them. Second
Yeah.
of all, they'd learn something. Third, it would keep them busy, because if you keep most prisoners busy, they don't cause a bunch of fucking problems. You have to give them something to do.
Right.
We are creatures that need something to do. We can't just sit around and do the same thing all day. We
I
go
had
crazy.
similar ideas for that for public school systems, especially in like areas where the economy's bad and there's high risk. It's like, okay, you need school lunch programs, like grow your own stuff, and then maybe apply the time that you've done that to science credits towards your diploma. And you'll be providing food. You'll learn how to grow. You'll learn agriculture.
Absolutely. And you learn discipline, like you have to take care of those crops. And that's another thing, like if I was exceedingly rich, I would just go around and buy greenhouses and set them up at the schools and get them all started, and then they could just maintain it. I would love to do stuff like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, get them interested in science as well, natural science.
I also think we could help our communities by taking people that, I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again, that get welfare and are able to work, even if it's just answering phones, or they can go pick up trash or something, and have them do like 10 hours or 20 hours. 10 hours a week would be plenty, 5 or 10 hours a week each person in every city to go around and clean up and repaint or do whatever they could do to help, make them man suicide hotlines or something, and make them volunteer. And it would clean up our cities and help our cities so much. And they would be earning some of that money that we're giving them, where they're just sucking it in, because there's plenty of them out there. I'd say over 50% of the people I've ever met that have been on welfare could be working. And I've met a lot of people in my life because I've lived so many places. So I think there's lots of programs we could put in that would help the city, help the communities, help the economy grow. Just the people that are rich just don't care. They're not going to do it. So anyways, that's how I feel about it. I feel like there's lots of stuff we could do to help people, and because they're not loaded with money, and there's lots of loopholes in the unemployment shit and the stuff, all the benefits people get. There's too many loopholes, and people just slide right through it and take advantage of it. It's just sad.
Yeah, we have an urban garden just a few miles from my house in Asbury Park, Cula Farms, and they have all that, the greenhouse and the vertical farming, and they have a cafe there, the Cula Cafe, and it's farm to table, so there's no pesticides or anything, and it's given people that an opportunity to work as well. I think Bruce Springsteen donated not sure, it was a van or something like this. It's a substantial amount of money and a van.
Oh, good. We have, speaking of famous people that actually try to help people, we have a homeless shelter here, and it is 100% funded by, as far as I know, there might be other people, but the main contributor is Shirley MacLaine. And if you ask my brother, when he first came to this area intentionally homeless because he wanted to try to help people, he stayed at that shelter and saw her walking through and telling them what she wanted improved and what she wanted painted and fixed, and giving them a list of stuff and how much money she wanted to spend that year to improve things. And she has totally good intentions. But I'm going to tell you, that homeless shelter, those people, most of them are meth heads and heroin addicts, and they come and steal and they harass people for money. And I just wish she would have put it on the outskirts of town and not, where it's at. It's too close to all the shopping districts and everything. And they let them sleep there at night. They lock the doors at around dark, and then they kick them out at like 9 or 10 a.m. and they clean up the place during the day and stuff. And they have to go find something to do. And so they go around and steal shit and steal stuff to make drugs and, do all this crazy crap during the day. And I appreciate that she's trying to help people, but damn, they're taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
None of them are trying to get back on their feet. That's the problem I have with it. There's no program in place to make them, encourage them, push them to learn something and get back on their feet. They're just homeless people doing the same thing every day, over and over again, leeching off the system. Begging is legal here. So they stand on the street corners. And I know this guy, he was misdiagnosed with something, ended up losing his left hand. And so he's on, Social Security and all that. He's trying to get back to work now that his nub is healed up. And so he's tight with money. And his counselor said, well, if you need extra money, go beg. Everybody else does it. So he stood out there for 1 hour and made $34 in 1 hour. So these guys, most of the homeless people around here, well, not most of them, but quite a good chunk of them that are doing the heavy drugs, they're living in hotels. They make more money in a day than I do. and I'm out there busting my ass. So it's kind of bullshit, you know? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? If I just stood on a corner and begged and looked dirty, I could probably make really good money and have to work less hours. But yeah, I'm not one to beg, though. I like to earn my own shit. But I mean,
Well,
I could.
if I can see somebody who's really hurting, and I can, although, you know, these days I'm pretty freaking broke. If I can help them and I see that they're older and indigent, you know, I might help them out, at least maybe buy them a muffin or something.
Oh, thought my
But
cat
there
got
was
out for a minute.
one day in front of a
Go ahead.
convenience store near me, and I was walking in, and some kid, as I'm walking up, he goes, "You got $1?" And I just turned around and snapped. I said, "Go find something productive to do with yourself." By the time I came out, he was gone. My wife was like, "Maybe he was homeless." I'm like, "No, he was ditching school and grubbing money, and he got a smackdown."
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell. You can tell somebody that's really homeless. First of all,
Yeah,
they're usually carrying most of their shit around with them.
in a
And if they have
shopping cart.
nothing on them, yeah, if they have nothing on them and they're just wearing like jeans and a t-shirt, they're not.
And they,
They're
and
usually
they
not homeless. They always have
may or may not
backpacks.
have shoes.
Yes. All the homeless people here have shoes. All the homeless people here have jackets and blankets, and the Salvation Army here gives away clothes, and there's churches that all but I think one day a week, I think every day, but maybe some of them even on Sunday, they give away these big, huge plates of food, free meals. So none of them are starving. None of them are without clothes. None of them without a place to sleep that's safe at night. You know, like they baby them so much that they're like, why go get a job? I'm good doing this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a catch-22. So. Thank you, Amiga. That's great.
I'm completely oblivious to the chat.
Oh, he said he put some secular support links in, is what he did.
Oh.
So, yeah. Recovering from religion, secular therapy, grief beyond belief. And that grief beyond belief is probably helpful to a lot of people. But anyways, I'm going to get off of here. And I'll see everybody in about 20 some odd minutes over on Math Pig's channel. And Nels, thanks for coming up. I always love,
my pleasure. I enjoyed it
bullshitting
immensely.
with you. Huh?
My pleasure. I really enjoyed it immensely.
Good. Yeah, we always have good talks. It was nice to be able to sit and talk with Manda and Math Pig for a little bit too. I don't usually get to talk to them much. We're all so busy. So
Yeah.
it was good shit. So anybody that's around in the chat or whatever, I don't even know who's in there right now. Probably like there's only says 4 watching. See, Manda and Math Pig left and everybody ditched us. That's what happens around here. Thank you for hanging out, people. No.
Going with the cool kids.
Yeah, gotta follow the cool kids. Though, seriously though, you guys ever want to do like random hangouts? You want to get on and just bullshit? You know, let me know, and if I'm free, we can jump in. Everybody's welcome to jump in and talk as long as you're not an asshole, and you show your face to me so I know who you are. Yeah. So just let me know, guys. Get me on Twitter or Discord or wherever, and we'll do it whenever. I paid for StreamYard, so I have unlimited time on it every month. So we could use it. So, all right. Thank you, Nels.
You're quite welcome.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too.
All right, everybody. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.